The history of Buddhism in Cambodia, from ancient kingdoms to the temples of Angkor Buddhism, is deeply woven into the identity of Cambodia. For the Khmer people, religion is not separate from daily life. It influences art, education, festivals, moral values, and even the design of temples and cities. Today, Cambodia is one of the most Buddhist countries in the world. More than 95% of the population follows Theravada Buddhism, a spiritual tradition focused on meditation, wisdom, and the teachings of the Buddha. But the story of Buddhism in Cambodia stretches back nearly 2,000 years, shaped by trade, kings, monks, and great empires. Early spiritual influences. India and the Kingdom of Phunanth. First arrival of Buddhism in Cambodia is believed to have occurred during the time of the ancient kingdom known as Funan Kingdom, which flourished between the 1st and 6th centuries. Funan was one of the earliest civilizations in Southeast Asia and was strongly connected to maritime trade routes linking India, China, and the rest of the region. Indian merchants and Brahmin scholars traveled along these routes, bringing with them not only goods, but also religion, philosophy, writing systems, and architecture during this time. Both Hinduism and Buddhism entered the Khmer world. Early archaeological evidence shows that Buddhist statues and Sanskrit inscriptions appeared in Cambodia, demonstrating the influence of Indian spiritual traditions. Chinese records also describe Buddhist monks living in the region, suggesting that Buddhism was already present in early Khmer society. Chenla and the development of Khmer religious culture after the decline of Funan. Another kingdom known as Chenla. Kingdom rose to power during the 7th century. Chenla continued the cultural exchange between India and Southeast Asia. During this period, Khmer rulers supported both Hinduism and Mahayana Buddhism, and temples were built to honor various deities. Religion was closely connected to royal power. Kings were often viewed as divine rulers, embodying the cosmic order of the universe. This belief would later evolve into the famous Devaraja, or God King concept, during the rise of Angkor. The rise of Angkor and the sacred landscape. The golden age of Cambodian civilization began with the rise of the Khmer Empire in the 9th century. The empire established its capital at the magnificent city of Angkor. Located in what is now northwestern Cambodia, Angkor became one of the largest cities in the world during the medieval period. Covering hundreds of square kilometers, the Khmer kings built enormous temples, reservoirs, and canals, creating a sacred landscape that symbolized the universe. One of the most remarkable monuments of this era is Angkor Wat. Built in the early 12th century by King Suryavarman II, Angkor Wat was originally constructed as a Hindu temple dedicated to Vishnu, but its architecture also reflects deep cosmological symbolism. The temple represents Mount Meru, the mythical center of the universe in Hindu and Buddhist cosmology. Its 5 towers symbolize the sacred mountain peaks, while the surrounding moat represents the cosmic ocean. Over time, Angkor Wat gradually transformed into a Buddhist temple, demonstrating the evolving religious traditions of Cambodia. The Buddhist King Jayavarman. One of the most important figures in Cambodian religious history was Jayavarman VII, who ruled in the late 12th and early 13th centuries. Jayavarman, the devoted follower of Mahayana Buddhism, and reshaped the Khmer Empire through Buddhist ideals of compassion and public service, unlike earlier kings who focused mainly on temple construction for divine worship. Jayavarman VII built infrastructure to serve the people. He ordered the construction of hospitals, rest houses along royal roads, bridges and highways, temples dedicated to Buddhist teachings. Among the temples he built are Bayon Temple, famous for its giant smiling stone faces, Ta Prohm, now intertwined with massive jungle trees, Priakan, a vast monastic complex. The faces at Bahan are believed by many scholars to represent either the Sifa of Avalokiteshvara or the king himself, symbolizing compassion watching over the kingdom. Jayavarman VII transformed Angkor into a Buddhist imperial capital. The shift to Theravada Buddhism during the 13th century. A major religious transformation occurred across Southeast Asia. A new tradition called Theravada Buddhism began spreading from Sri Lanka through Thailand and into Cambodia. Theravada Buddhism focuses on the, quote, original teachings of the Buddha, preserved in the Pali Canon, unlike the earlier Mahayana tradition supported by kings. Theravada Buddhism emphasized a simpler and more personal path to enlightenment. It taught that anyone, not only kings or priests, could achieve spiritual awakening through moral discipline, meditation, and wisdom. This new form of Buddhism quickly spread among ordinary people by the 14th century. Theravada Buddhism became the dominant religion of Cambodia. Monasteries and education. Buddhist temples, known as Wats, became the center of Khmer village life. These monasteries served many important roles: religious practice, education for young boys, preservation of Khmer, literature, community gatherings and ceremonies. For centuries, monks were the main teachers in Cambodian society. Young boys often entered the monastery temporarily to study Buddhist teachings, Khmer language, and moral philosophy. Even today, becoming a monk for a short period is considered a meaningful part of life for many Cambodian men. Buddhism and Khmer culture. Buddhism is closely connected to Cambodian cultural traditions. Many national festivals are rooted in Buddhist beliefs. One of the most important celebrations is Visak Bocha, which commemorates the birth, enlightenment, and passing of the Buddha. Another major festival is Pum Ben, when Cambodians honor their ancestors and offer food to monks so that spiritual merit can be shared with departed relatives. These ceremonies reflect the Buddhist concept of karma and merit, where good actions bring positive results for both the living and the dead. Buddhism during the Khmer Rouge era. One of the darkest periods in Cambodian history occurred during the Cambodian genocide under the rule of the Khmer Rouge between 1975 and 1979. During this time, religion was banned. Thousands of monks were forced to leave the monkhood. Temples were destroyed, and religious practices were forbidden. Buddhism, which had guided Cambodian society for centuries, nearly disappeared. However, after the fall of the Khmer Rouge, the Cambodian people slowly rebuilt their temples and religious traditions. Monks returned to monasteries, and Buddhism was restored as the official religion of Cambodia. Buddhism in modern Cambodia today. Buddhism remains a powerful force in Cambodian society. Temples are active centers of prayer, education, and cultural life. Important temples such as Wat Phnom in Phnom Penh, Wat Priya Pram Rathan Seam. Riapontnu to attract both worshippers and visitors. Every morning, monks walk through villages collecting alms from local people, a tradition that has continued for centuries. Conclusion: from the ancient trade routes of Funan to the majestic temples of Angkor, Buddhism has shaped the history and identity of Cambodia. It has survived the rise and fall of empires, wars, and political turmoil. Today, the quiet chanting of monks, the golden roofs of temples, and the spiritual teachings of the Buddha remain a guiding light for the Khmer people. Buddhism is not just a religion in Cambodia. It is the living heart of Khmer civilization.